Let me ruminate for 2 minutes or so on our place in the world of Scotch whisky, the place of Compass Box Whisky Company. I mean, if you go back around 15 years or so, around the time when I started this company, the really interesting part of whisky, Scotch whisky, for enthusiasts was the distillery, a place. And like wine vineyards, it was about understanding a place and the distinctive, or in some cases unique, product that comes from that place. Yeah. But what's happened over the last decade or so is people have developed an understanding, whether we're talking about whiskey or wine, that it's not always necessarily just the place, it's the decisions that people in those places make on creating their products. So techniques change, techniques evolve, new techniques are created and applied. Styles sometimes are determined to change. And all of these changes are made by individuals. They're made by a maker, whether we're talking whiskey or wine. Yeah? So in the world of whiskey, some of these, the variables that go into making a whiskey in a distillery are things like the type of barley, the way it's malted, yeasts and fermentation times, approach to distillation, and importantly, ultimately, the cask has arguably the biggest impact on the resultant flavor of that whiskey. And these are all decisions made by a maker. Yeah? And these are some of the reasons why things have changed. You know, not every distillery makes the same thing today as they did 10 or 20 or 50 years ago, even though they might say they do. In many cases, and I would argue most cases, things change. Yeah? So decisions of the maker. So I think what we've gone to, people more readily understand this kind of thing now. And so I think we've gone in the last decade or so from this paradigm of the place and an interest in a place to the paradigm of the maker and the decisions a maker takes in producing something. And this is what captivated my imagination long ago when I started Compass Box. And when you overlay in Scotch whisky the ability now to take these outputs from various makers, various places, and blend, now you've got even more complexity, and you've got the opportunity to create stuff that is proprietary. And this is what attracted me to the business I'm in today. So we've gone from this paradigm of the place to the paradigm of the maker, and that's why we call ourselves Scotch whisky makers. We are not distillers, we're more than blenders, we are Scotch whisky makers.